I've been in recovery since May 13th of 2011. I'm one of those recovering addicts that ain't supposed to get in recovery. Like, I was supposed to die. I remember the first time that I ever thought alcohol was cool and funny. I remember being 4 years old, my first memory. I lived in Santaquin, Utah with my father and my mother, and my father, you would call him a normie today, but back then it was pretty normal for people to drink. And I remember my mom getting a phone call saying, "Come and get your husband." And me and my sister and my mom went up to the bar in Santaquin, and he was getting arrested on a horse. He got a DUI on a horse. And I remember it like it was yesterday because the cops were laughing, I was laughing, and I remember it being so funny. And I was like, I'm gonna be like him one day. And not really realizing that's what that meant later in my life. My mom and dad got divorced. It was not a good marriage. Thank God that they did divorce. I know that now, I didn't know that then. When they got divorced, my mom took us kids. My mom raised us on welfare. My mom ended up having a really bad mental illness. My little brother died from spinal meningitis at the age of 2. She kind of went cuckoo after that. Not knowing that's what was going on with her, but her solution was to work in a bar and get drunk. And my sister watched me most of my life. She always took care of me. When my mom would come home from the bar with different men all the time, I thought that's the way that you found love. And that was the way that it just was. My sister actually got married at the age of 14 because my mom got with someone that was very abusive, sexually abusive. She never wanted to believe it. My sister ended up getting married. My mom signed off on her. And for the first time, I really felt abandonment, like the deep abandonment issues that started. What's wrong with me? Who's going to protect me? She got married and she left home. And I ended up going and seeing her a lot, but I actually just wanted to be like my sister. So I decided when I turned 14, I married the brother to the guy that she married. And my mom signed off on me. They come from a really religious family. And my sister was pregnant and had a kid and was pregnant again. I couldn't have babies. The doctor told me I would never be able to have babies because I had endometriosis, pretty severe. And there we go again. What's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough? Why does this God hate me? I remember I was about 16 years old. He left me for my best friend because she ended up getting pregnant. There we go again, abandonment issues. What's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Ain't I good enough? I found alcohol and I started drinking. My alcoholism really took off from there. I just drank myself into oblivion. And I found somebody at a party. We were hanging out. And at that time, also, the doctor was giving me Percocet, Lortabs. I was taking quite a bit of it because of the endometriosis, that I had a condition. Not realizing I was addicted to opiates. I just thought I maybe had a drinking problem. And I didn't even think that, because I didn't think women could be alcoholics. I was an alcoholic. And so I met this guy. He had 3 little kids, and the mother just went to prison for fraud, for a bunch of other stuff. She got a lot of time, and I thought, this will help me. I will be their mom. And I took on these 3 little boys that were 1, 5, and 6, and got with this dad, and we were partying, and so when I was 20 years old, I found myself pregnant. I had my child, you know, and maybe I am good enough. But some part of me thought that I needed to always be with a man, always. Whatever he liked, I liked. He liked Green Bay, I freaking love Green Bay, you know, and if he liked chocolate or Mexican, that's what I liked. And really, in all goodness thinking, I hated all that. But I didn't know that then. I just did it to be okay. I took on these kids. I had my first child. My second child came along. The doctor told me not to have another baby. Well, it's me or the baby would die. It's not what happened for me. I went through with it. I had the baby. They told me that, you know, not to have another baby, so they put an IUD in me because the next time me or the baby's gonna die. So back to that self-seeking, selfish, that sick feeling that this is it, you know, and instead of being grateful I had 2, I was just mad at God that he would just do this. And mind you, the marriage got bad. I was raising his kids, raising my kids with his kids. They started growing up, you know. I didn't know what it was really like to work, but I knew that I was a good mom, that I thought I was a good mom. I would drink here and there. I would take the opiates for the pain, and come to find out, you know, a couple of years into our relationship, by that time, my firstborn was 2. My next one was just barely born. The violence started. He came home drunk, and he just took me up by my throat and threw me across the room. And he told me I was cheating on him, and that what a piece of shit I was. And he tore off my clothes and he raped me. I didn't know that's what was going on, because I thought that's just what you do for your husband. The violence got pretty bad. He was getting where he wasn't coming home at all. And why doesn't he love me? Why doesn't he come home to me? What's really going on? This is more than alcohol. So I decided to go to a party with him one time. You know, I just wanted to be with him. And there was a bunch of methamphetamines on this table. And he told me, Billie, you'll never get addicted, just try it once. You know, it will just let us have a good time. We can interact with each other. We'll have great sex, blah, blah, blah. And so I did what he wanted me to do, and that's what I did. And I found the love of my life. I found that no matter what he did to me, no matter what was going on, I could just do that drug and I'd be 6 foot and bulletproof. It was a mama's helper. I had all the energy in the world. I was taking kids to school, making them lunch, doing laundry for 5 kids, had the house spotless, had dinner ready, even though I wasn't hungry. But my life was a little bit manageable at that time, and I didn't think I would be that addict that's gonna be shooting dope or all that crazy stuff. I would just do a little dope, right? Just to be okay. It was a matter of 6 months. I left my husband. And mind you, he was already intertwined with the cartel. I left the husband, moved out, took my 2 kids. I couldn't take his kids, but I took my 2 kids, got my own place. In a matter of 6 months, I'm mingling with the cartel. I went from smoking dope to shooting dope. Lost my children, been raided. And the only thing that I did right in that last few part of that 6 months was the second time I got raided, I finally surrendered. I surrendered to the lie of I'm going to get sober for my children. I lied to myself. And what that means is I went in front of the judge, they put me in drug court, and I wanted my kids because I didn't want to be that freaking mom that was the biggest loser. And I did what they told me to do, and I took a bow until they gave me back the kids. I even told the judge I left the dad, which that was a lie, as he beat me up all the way through drug court. I got pregnant in drug court with my last baby. The doctor said I wouldn't make it, or the baby wouldn't make it. And I remember for the first time, I was just like, I'm still going through with it. If one of us die, then that's what needs to happen. But I wanted to take that chance. So I get pregnant in drug court. I even got a dirty UA at 9 months pregnant for methamphetamines. And I knew I wasn't dirty, but, my background says I was. So we sent it off to the lab, and it came back clean. But I think now what I think then was I was doing everything wrong. I was lying, I was manipulating. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. They told me to go to AA. I had my thing signed every night, and I couldn't tell you what a sponsor was or what the steps were. And I went every day for 18 months. Like, I just didn't have no clue, and because I wasn't ready. I was doing it for my children, not for me. And anyway, the judge gave me back my kids, and I took a bow, and I had Jesse, and the old man still moved in with me, and I have this little baby, and I'm doing really good, somewhat really good. But I'm still with the old man. He's still getting drunk. He's still doing drugs, and he's still beating me up. And I need him to need me because I don't know how to love myself. Jesse was about a year and a half old. I just barely had a hysterectomy because I bled out. But so they gave me an emergency hysterectomy. 4 days after that emergency hysterectomy, he came in, he was loaded, he was drunk, he pulled me off the bed, stomped on my gut opened, and my son, that was 14 at the time, runs in, holds my gut in, calls 911, and says, "Mom, please don't go. Please just hang in there." And the ambulance came, and that's all I really remember. I woke up in the hospital, and I still stayed with that man. I still stayed because I didn't know how to love myself once again. And mind you, it's not his fault. It's not his fault I stayed. This was my fault. This is my problem. I just didn't know what a big problem I had. Sorry, I still get emotional because it's really hard to go back in that place because it was so long ago. My sister came and got my kids when my youngest was 2, and my other ones were 5 and 6. They were in the first grade in kindergarten. I started using again, of course, because I was still in the same situation, the same people, the same everything, and I didn't learn a damn thing. So I started using again. My sister came and got my kids. She told me that, when I'm ready to get sober, I can give them a call. And she took my kids, and she took care of them. She took them to Price. So that's like 2 hours away from here. So she did that, but my addiction just got more crazier. I ended up running with the cartel, a certain family up in Salt Lake. The more I ran with them, the more I couldn't get out, and the more that my life became more on the line, as well as my family's. The cool thing about that is that my story ends up pretty crazy later in my sobriety because of, I was really close to this family that was a small niche of the cartel. It's just a small niche of a family. And so what happened was 28 times in jail. Every time I'd go to jail, I'd swear off, go find God. They would say, go to AA or go to 12 steps or go to the church. And in my head, I couldn't scrub the filth off fast enough. So who in the hell is this God, and who in the hell is really going to save me? I am too damaged, and my life will be like this. I can go into all the horrible things that I seen, all the horrible things I did, but in all reality, 10 years ago, May 13th of 2011, something happened. The gift of desperation came into my world. And that gift of desperation was that last time going to jail. The first time I ever thought I couldn't get high anymore. Using, smoking, I went and got the needle. I always been scared of it. Everyone says it's just a whole different demon. And I went and did it. And I remember having $600 in my pocket, an ounce of dope. I'm walking down St. George Boulevard, don't know how to live and don't know how to die. And I will never see my kids again, or my family. And that feeling of, if I could kill myself, I would. But I was too big of a chicken shit, period. And just hoping somebody just run me over, And all of a sudden, I fell to my knees. I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist, because nobody's ever going to forgive me. And if there is that powerful God that everyone talks about, why can't he just zap it out of me? Like, why did I have to go through this? So let me tell you why I have to go through this, because this is the important part of recovery. Because when I have to go through something so hard and so unimaginable that anyone else has to go through, that pain has to be so deep that you find him now. And I remember dropping to my knees that day, saying, please, just take my fucking life. Just take my life. I can't do this no more. I'm always worried about my children. Just all this chaos in my head. And I went in, I got up, I wiped off my eyes, and I went to the trap house to go sell some more dope. And I go in there, sell all the dope. I have all this money in my pocket. Oh, and the cool thing is this. Nobody knew me by Billie. They always knew me by Annabella. So this is the crazy thing that happened, that I go out, we're hanging outside, the cops come, they're raiding the place. I have a Class B misdemeanor warrant out of Utah County, and I have no dope in my pocket, but I have about $975 in my pocket. The cool thing about this is that when my buddies, when they're asking me my name, I told the cops, my name's Billie, and my buddies looked at me and said, your name's not Billie, you're gonna get in so much trouble. And I says, my name's Billie. And I told them my full name and my date of birth, and they're like, what the hell? And so I went to jail, because that is my real name, but they couldn't even bail me out because they couldn't even remember my real name, because they knew me by Annabella. They took me to Utah County this was my 28th stay there, and the judge just told me she was gonna send me to prison if I didn't do something different. And I just told her not to let me out of jail, let me do my 6 months and get out. And then I found Papillon, and it's a sober living, and I actually just got willing and went there, and they told me to do 90 meetings in 90 days and get a sponsor, do all these meetings, and then that's when I learned what self-help AA meetings were. And that's pretty much what I did for my recovery. I started that, and you know, for me, I wasn't that mom that was going to ever see her kids again, because I had to pretend like they were dead so I could get sober. Something happened when I was about 3 years sober. My sister called me and told me that she wanted to see me, and you know, she wanted to see if I was really sober. And we went and talked, visited. The second visit, she brought my youngest. He was 2 when I saw him last, and he was 8 when she brought him to the baseball park. You know, for me, that was a really big banger for, you know, finding God in my life, because mommies like me don't get their kids back. And this little kid comes running up to me and, Mom, Mom. And I'm looking around for a 2-year-old because my addiction kept him at 2. My sister was really graceful, and thank God that, you know, she showed him a VH tape of me when I got married at 14 and said that was Mom, and hopefully one day she'll come home. And that's how he remembered me, and that's why he recognized me. My other kids were really pretty pissed off still. I started working at Next Step Medical Detox in 2012, a year after I was sober. I'm still there. I've been there for a long time. You know, I chase the spirit, the sunlight of the spirit, to stay sober. I love helping other people. You know, that's my mission, is, you know, to get the hell out of my own way and do what God wants me to do. You know, and for me, what's important is that I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in all that crazy stuff. I believe in, if it feels good, we should be doing it. And that's the right thing to do, doing the next right thing. And I am an AA'er. I love the 12 steps. I love what it does for me. I love what it does for my family. I got to have my child back, my youngest, back at 8 years old. I raised him. He just barely graduated in May. He got a scholarship to Kansas State for baseball. Like, mommies like me don't get that opportunity, but that's what recovery's given me, is a life worth living, a life being a mom, a life helping others. I just barely bought a men's and a women's sober living, you know, so I can continue the help with God, you know, and my God it's not the God you see on the wall, but it is something spiritual. And, you know, for the most part of it, I have to work at this every day. This is not a one and done thing. Like, I have to work at this, and I have to keep helping others, or I could lose my own sobriety. So somebody that's brand new, looking for help, I would say reach out to your local, you know, hospitals, detoxes, treatment centers. If you go to AA, reach out to a sponsor. Reach out to your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your husband. Get vulnerable, get honest, get the help. Because if you don't, there always could be that one thing. And I always say, no more funerals. We're here to help. So I think that working the steps with women, another woman, is so powerful, because empowering to not only me but to them, because when they're usually struggling, I'm usually struggling with something similar. And it keeps me working my steps, because usually we're struggling the same way. It's just I'm teaching them how to navigate through the steps. The opposite of addiction is connection. And if I'm connecting with another human and loving another human, because love conquers everything, it conquers everything. If I'm connecting and loving, then I'm not thinking of self-seeking, selfish. What's wrong with me? Because there's nothing wrong with me if I'm connecting with another human. And then I don't want to use. And we could save one life at a